We are on Daf Chaf Zayin Amud Aleph 27a2. Okay? The Gemara just mentioned the idea that when the family is mourning Bar Minan, they have to not only turn over the bed in the house where they're mourning, but also turning over the bed in their own homes. If there's 10 beds in the house, they have to turn over all the 10 beds. And then the Gemara it said that if there's a bed that's used only for vessels, it's used like a veranda or it's used like a tabletop, so then the halacha is that does not require the same turning over because it's not going to be used to sit on or to lie on.
So a child that sleeps in their house, that's on a bed, you would turn his bed over?
What do you mean a child? A Kattan? No, Kattan has no laws.
So he's exempt.
No laws of
You
Avelut.
said turn all the beds over.
Any bed that's being used.
Siblings.
Siblings we're talking about.
Okay.
Siblings.
So
The Kattan has no Avelut. So we just now, why do they rip for a Kattan? To increase the crying for everybody else. But it's not about him.
Right.
Says the Gemara. The Braita says as follows: Dargash en tzarich lechafoto. You do not have to turn over a dargash. What's a dargash? We'll see in a second. Ela zokfo, whoever would turn over a dargash, you have to be Majnun. Ela zokfo, rather you stand up the dargash. Stand it up, obviously. What kind of Majnun thing is that? Now, obviously, zokfo over here means like you turn it over on its lengthwise. Okay, so you're leaning it like up against the wall type of thing, but like almost like imagine a bench with the bottom two legs against the wall. Okay, but it's standing up tall. And that way, it won't be used because it's standing up, whatever it is, we don't know yet what it is. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, Dargash matiret karbitav, v'hu nofel me'elav. You release the fasteners, the bits that connect it, and then it falls by itself to the floor. The Gemara says, my dargash, what's a dargash? We'll see in a second, very close. Gemara says, my dargash. Amar Ula says something fascinating. Arsa de Gada. Arsa de Gada means the bed of good mazal. Gad actually means good mazal. In fact, one of the Shevatim's names is Gad, right? And why does Rashi say he was called Gad? Two crazy reasons, by the way. One reason is Ba Gad, good mazal has come. So she called him Gad because it was like a good mazal. The other reason is she said Ba Gad, not come, mazal has come, but rather Bagad means, from a Lashon Bagadnu. Like Yaakov, you were with my handmaiden, even though she gave him to him, Bagad, like you cheated on me, like you were with another woman. Mm-hmm. Two opinions as to why she called him Bagad. But the first opinion in Rashi over there, which is Gad, which means Mazal, says the Gemara, Arsa de Gada, a bed for Mazal. What does that mean, a bed for Mazal? There was a certain angel, so to speak. Whether you're looking at it as an angel, whether you're looking at it as a Mazal, they would have a bed in the house that nobody used, and the only thing the bed was for was to welcome in the good Mazal, like it's for him. Wild item, okay? Big question if it's even allowed to be done, what we're talking about, because it might be like a superstition, a level of like Avodah Zarah, okay? However, says the Gemara, Ula says, Arsa de Gada. That's what Dargash is, okay? So, now let's review what that means. What does it mean that there's a machloket between the two opinions? One is you stand it up, and one is you release the ties of the daragash and it falls to the ground. The Gemara says, well, let's see, does Ula's concept make sense? Seemingly, it's just a regular bed that's just used and that's never used. Like it is specifically never used. Amalei Rabba said, El Me'ata, we learn from here, according to what you're telling me, Gabe Melech, with regards to a king. Let's say you have a king who's in Avel. And the Mishnah says, everyone sits on the floor. He reclines on the daragash, and that's where he eats his seudah havra'ah, his meal of the mourners. So out of respect, everyone else sits on the floor. He's on the daragash eating his meal. The Gemara says, it can't be. Up until now, this was reserved only for the malach of good fortune. So no one, even the king, would not sit on it because it was specifically meant to be a bed left open for good fortune to come to the house. So now, in his state of avelut, you're going to let him do something that you wouldn't have let him do before he was avel? Right. It doesn't make sense. Avelut always gives you less options, not more options. Right? Good question? So the Gemara is challenging the concept of Ula, where Ula said that this Dargash we're talking about is the good fortune bed. Okay? And absolutely good call, by the way, I didn't come back to you. Good call, Kosher Eliyahu. Same type of issue. Okay. By the way, I don't know why you went with Kosher Eliyahu. The more obvious one would have been Kiseh Shel Eliyahu. Right. Okay. Says the Gemara.
But we use that.
What?
We use the Kisei Shel Yahu, no?
Technically, no.
We're supposed to have two agreement on
Exactly. We combine the two. Really, the Kiseh Shel Eliyahu is only supposed to be used for the baby is like laid on Eliyahu's lap. Yes. Yes. Okay. The Gemara says, okay, so that's your question. Matkil Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi asked a question on the question. Why? Because we're Jews. My kushya. What's the question? It's just like eating and drinking. Normally, I don't come to your house and feed you. Why did I come to your house and feed you the pita and the egg and whatever? Because it's the meal. It's the meal of the mourner, right? The meal of the avel. So just like that's something which I don't do before your avel. When you are an avel, I do more than I was doing before. So you said, "What is there a thing that you don't do more in avel?" Yeah, I found you one. When the people feed the guy the food that doesn't belong to him. Now you're going to give him more because he's a mourner. So too the king, even though normally he would not have lie down on the bed of the Dargash of the Mazal Tov, now he's going to lie down on the bed of the Mazal Tov because he is a mourner and we're trying to afford him the respect of having the people eat on the ground in front of him. Gemara says, but if you want to challenge, if you want to slug up, if you want to ask a question on Ula, Hakasha. Let me tell you what the question is. Titania, the Braita said, Dargash a Dargash does not need to be turned over. Ela zokfo, you stand it up. Vi asadegada, if all a Dargash is a regular bed, just set aside for good mazal to stay in, right? Then why would you not need to turn it over? Didn't you tell me in the Braita, someone turns over the bed, not only does he turn over his own, he turns over all the beds in the house. The Dargash, if it's a regular bed, you should be turning it over too. It's a regular bed in the house, and you said you turn over all the beds in the house. The Gemara answers, the Gemara answers, my kasha, why are you saying that's a question? We already gave you the exemption in the same Braita. Just like we said, if there's a bed and it's only used as a veranda, it's only used as I keep saying veranda is not the right word. It's only used as a credenza, is the word I was using for. It's only used as a credenza, come on, furniture. Yeah, what's credenza? Server. That's the point. Oh. It's like if you're using the bed for machshi, to put the spread out, you're not using it for people.
It's not for sleeping.
It's not for sleeping. So just like a food bed, you wouldn't have to turn over, it's not for sleeping. The gad bed, i.e. the arsa de gada, the good fortune bed, also is not for sleeping. So you asked me, why would you not have to turn it over? You have to turn over all the beds and it's a bed. Yeah, that's also a bed. But it's a bed that you use for furniture. It's a bed that you use for food. Or it's a bed that you use for good fortune.
It looks like a bed.
Sorry?
It looks like a bed, the dargash, as opposed to the utensil item.
No, the utensil item is also a regular bed. Okay. It's just that I happen to be using it for this. Okay? So the Gemara says, okay, so therefore, that's not a good question on Ula. It sounds like they have it in for Ula, no? Like they just want to knock him out. Right? Like the question gets, come on, if you got a question, let's ask exactly. Ela ikasha, hakasha. If you have a question on Ula, this is the question. Rabban Shimon Gamliel says, Dargash matik abitav, v'unofel me'elav, the Dargash, you undo its loops and it falls by itself. What are we talking about over here? We're talking about and if you're telling me it's talking about a regular bed, my karbiten itle. Why does it have fasteners? Why does it have strings? It's a regular bed. The Gemara answers, Ella, so what is it? If Ula's wrong, what is a Dargash? Ravin came, Rav Tachlifa, the Westerner. What does Westerner mean over here? Those that came from the West. Remember, Bavel was in the East. So those that came from the West were the ones that came from Jerusalem. So Rav Tachlifa taught them when he came to Bavel that in the shuk of the leather people, the leather goods, you would be able to see my dargash. What is a dargash? Arsa detzila. It's a bed of leather. Okay? So it's not a regular bed. It's a bed that has a covering of leather. Why did Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel say you don't have to turn it over?
You don't ruin the leather.
You want to ruin the leather? Leather's on the ground. The ground is not paved. It's going to absorb the moisture from the ground. So therefore, we felt bad for you. So what do we tell you? Stand it up. First opinion. Second opinion, release the leather from its ties. Imagine a frame with a leather that's held taut on the frame. Okay? Release it and take it out. Now, no one's going to sit on it. So two opinions as to what you do for the dargash. Either you stand it up and don't put it down because we don't want you to ruin it, or you take it apart by releasing it from its from the holds. Okay? Itmanami. We also learned a similar concept that proves this. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah said, dargash serugo mitocho. The dargash has its serug, which means the thing which ties it, mitocho from the inside. Mita, but a bed, siruga al gaba. Its ties are on top of it. So in other words, the difference is, are we tying ropes around the outside of the frame?
Or through the frame.
Or is it through the frame? What's the difference? The difference is, am I creating a rope mesh to put like a mattress on top of? Okay, like a box spring. Or what is a dargash? A dargash is where it sits in the frame itself. You never see like a trampoline? Yeah. So like the thing of the trampoline is held inside the circle. That's what a dargash looks like. So just like Rabbi Yirmiyah says, dargash sirugo mitocho, it was the fasteners were within the wall of the frame itself, as opposed to over the edges like a mita. Okay?
We learned about a bed frame in the beginning, where we would undo the strings of the frame.
Yes.
At the beginning of the,
Yes, we talked about it. We talked about it in two places. One where they're making something, right? And one where we're releasing it. Yes, exactly.
But not this type of bed frame. Or it's talking about the same type of bed frame.
Probably this second type of bed frame. Dargash is new. The Gemara now continues. Amar Rav Yaakov bar Acha, Amar Rav Yoshua ben Levi. Rav Yaakov bar Acha said to Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, Halacha Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. The halacha is like Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, that you untie the loops and that releases the inner part of the dargash to the ground. Now, just to be clear, this is an interesting item here. What do we always say when it comes to avelut? We always go lenient. Which is more lenient here? Taking the whole bed apart or just leaning it up on the wall? Leaving it on the wall.
Oh, it's more
Easier.
That's more strict, right? So why are we ruling like Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel? We just said.
We go more lenient.
So no, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel is more strict. He's the one that holds you have to take it apart.
And you're ruining it if you're letting the loops out and it's falling on the floor.
So letting the loops out might just mean that you gather it up and fold it up, put it somewhere. But it's not upside down on the floor.
But
No,
there's more
if you
work
undo
involved.
the leather,
Yeah.
it falls down.
Right, but it doesn't get ruined from falling down for 1 second. It gets ruined when you're putting it for 7 days upside down. Right? So you're not going to have it ruined from Rabbi Shimon ben
It doesn't
Gamliel.
say that you pick up the leather.
Well, there's no issur not to pick up leather, so you do whatever you want.
Okay.
Right? But what we would have to come up with a reason why Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel is also, there's a leniency also to his opinion. What leniency could there be from Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel? That he doesn't just let you stand it up.
You don't have to carry it.
Sorry?
You don't have to carry it. It's
Oh.
heavier.
So one answer might be, Zokfo means you have to pick it up. And what are you doing when you pick it up? You're showing an element of avelut. The dargash, the reason why it has those fasteners is in order to be released. Right? That's why it's there. So maybe Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, while it's more of a statement with regards to the bed, maybe it's less of a statement when it comes to avelut.
Wouldn't it be the opposite?
Go ahead.
The point of having a katan tear or to do things is to enhance or to bring out more mourning. by me showing that I'm putting the bed on the wall shows the morning aspect of it. Someone comes in the home and they see the dargash on the wall, they know that this house is in mourning. If they don't see the dargash there, they just see it bunched up, it doesn't...
No, but that's exactly my point. So maybe the way that Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel is also a more lenient opinion, even though what he required you to do was to take a bed apart, is because there's no expression of mourning which is visible.
Wouldn't you want the expression of mourning?
Yes, but when there's a machloket in mourning, we always go for the more lenient opinion. This is a lesser expression of mourning.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because all you're seeing is a frame.
Is this a common thing, this dargash
What?
thing? Everybody has a dargash around?
There's
one eye.
Hey, Ulai's brother-in-law.
Let me. I'll tell you. I'll tell you one thing. If it was so common, no one would be asking what it is. Right? What is this dargash? Ula's like, I know what it is. If it was a chair, yeah, no one's arguing. We know what a dargash is. We needed a guy to come from the West to tell us that in the shuk of the leather maker markets, right? That's what it is. So obviously it wasn't that common, an item. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yaakov Baracha. Gemara says, okay, so Rabbi Yaakov Baracha taught Amar Rabbi Asi in the name of Rav Asi. Mita Shenaklitea yotzin. Sorry? A kind of like a teepee. A true teepee would not have those legs.
Right.
Okay? Mita shenaklitea yotzim. So you have a naklitea, it's a double poster. Okay? So you got two posts on either side. Zokfa v'dayo. You're able to stand it up, and that's enough. You don't have to flip it on its head. Okay? Now, what would be the reason for that?
If you want to...
Because it comes to a point. If you turn it upside down, look at that item. What would happen if you turn it upside down? It would fall. You can't do it. So if you can't do it, what do you do? Turn it on its side, and that's enough. That's already enough to the...
Is this the third translation of what the dargash was?
No.
So then what is... This is just saying...
This is another kind of a bed. Yeah, double post bed. Okay?
Double bed.
Now, says the Gemara. Tan Rabbanan Yashen al gabe kiseh. Let's say the guy didn't flip his bed, but he slept instead on a chair. Al gabe udaine, or if he slept on a mortar, which is like a large stone. Gedola mizu al gabe karka, or if even worse than the chair and even worse than the stone, he slept on the actual ground. Lo yatsa yedei chovato. He did not fulfill his obligation. Es the Gemara shu chovato. Which chovato? Amar Rabbi Yochanan shelo kiyem kfiyat hamita. He did not fulfill the turning over of the bed. Now this harkens back to what we said about Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. In other words, a non-turned over bed does not have a turned over bed look when someone comes in the house.
Right.
So I'm sleeping on the ground. I'm doing more than you asked me to. But still, I didn't fulfill my obligation. Why? We wanted a visual. You got that, Jonah? We wanted the visual of the upside down bed. This, by the way, is the best item ever. The only thing I think he's doing wrong is that the G's are leaving before all the guys come. I have to figure out a way to have them overlap.
Get a dargash. Stay on the dargash till the boys come. It's very tempting. Okay, let's go.
I have a question.
In like 1,000 years, it's going to say, Amar Joey, Tavi Dargash.
When did we get rid of the overturning of the bed? Like, now someone sleeps in a regular bed.
Correct.
So when did that transition to...
I can't tell you when it happened, but we know that it
Are we still
happened.
using the same significance of the dargash? Are we holding to that item?
Yes.
No, you know what I mean.
Yes.
No, the luck of the
Oh, do we have the bed?
Yeah, because we
Never heard of it in my life. I feel like if it was still an item, the Moroccans would know about it.
right.
Tearing the...
And even the Moroccans I never heard.
Kind of like diluting it as they keep changing.
No.
You don't think so?
No, Ula is telling you that that this is that. But that was a
using
thing
the word
is still true. No, let's not get confused. Ula is saying that there is this item, the bed of the good luck. You know what a dargash is? A dargash is that. The Gemara just proved that that's not what a dargash is. But the fact that there's a bed for good luck, that still exists.
Okay, I didn't know if we were.
Yeah, but we obviously don't have that anymore.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Tearing of the shirt is the oraita, right?
Kiriyah is deoraita, yes.
Right. And that's
And that's why the Gemara answered, even though we always say avelut, we go to the lenient.
that's not
For tearing, not. Because tearing is deoraita, yeah.
The bed is not, right?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Am Rabbi Yochanan. Oh, sorry. So lo kiyem kfiyat hamita. Rabbi Yochanan says that he did not fulfill the kfiyat hamita, and you don't have that. You can't show. You don't have that to show, Yani, that you flipped it. Says the Gemara, Tan Rabbanan mechabdim umarbitzim bebet avel. Mechabdim was that they would sweep the house. Now, just to be clear, what were they sweeping?
Dust.
Not dust.
Dirt.
Dirt. Why dirt?
They had dirt.
They had no floor.
No tile.
So dust indicates that you have a floor and you have dust on it, right? No one ever went outside to a mud field and said, "Oh my God, there's so much dust on the mud," right? That was just mud.
The mud in.
So sweeping, what did sweeping do?
The mud from the shoes.
It created a level floor filled in the divots, okay? And that way the ground, you like that one, is not, that's better than dargash. It's not getting kicked all over the place. That was mechabdin, okay? Now, mechabdin is sweeping. What is marbitzim?
Rinsing.
Now they would take water and they would sprinkle water all that would keep, now here's Jonah's, dust down on the dirt floor. Okay? So that's what they would do to keep it down. Bebet havel, when it comes to mechabdin barbitzim bet havel. You're able to do that in the house of mourning. We don't have to think to ourselves like, how you doing that? You're making the mud so sharp. Okay. Madichin ke'arot v'chosot utzluchiot v'kitoniyot bet havel. Person is allowed to wash off the plates, karot, kosot, the cups. Tzlochit is the jar. Kiton is a bottle. Okay.
The person
Bet havel.
in Shiva is able to do that?
No, it's allowed to be done in the house. No, also,
the house.
also the mourner too.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I thought they can't do anything.
No, he's allowed to do his own items, cleaning up.
Okay.
Ve'en mevi'in et hamugmar ve'et habesamim bet havel. But to bring into the house, incense that they would burn in the house for the smell, and besamim, spices, bet havel, that you're not allowed to do. So basically, what you're allowed to do is you're allowed to bring from a negative to a net zero.
Neutral, yeah.
Yeah, you see, in other words, if it's dirty, clean the floor.
Right.
Yeah, sweep it. Put the water down. Clean the dirty dishes. But to add a level up with besamim or with incense, that we did not want you to do. We wanted it to be a place that it was clear that there was mourning. And the Gemara says, really, is that the case? Didn't Bar Kapara teach us? Al hagmugmar velo ala besamim bebet havel. You don't make a beracha on incense and spices in the house of mourning. Obviously, in other cases, you would make on incense and on spices, you would make borei minei besamim, borei atzei besamim, borei isbe besamim, whatever you'd be making. But the Braita says that you don't make a beracha on it in the house of the Avdel. What does that tell you? Biruche de lo mevachin. You don't make a beracha on it. But atuye maitina, but you're allowed to bring them. So this Braita seems to be saying the opposite of the Braita before. Gemara answers, one second. Gemara answers, lo kasha, not question, ha bebet avel, ha bebet menachmim. When did we say that you're not allowed to bring in to the bet avel? That's when you can't bring in spices and incense for dafka for the mourner. Ha bebet menachamim, when you're bringing it to the room of the people that are coming to bring consolation, the people coming to be menachem avel, that's not the room alone of the mourner. In the mourner's room, it's only for the mourner. So only for the mourner, we'd say no. But when everyone's coming and all the public are here and it smells like a tesh, so then yes, you're allowed to burn it in that room, the incense, that for everybody else, it would be okay.
It benefits the mourner.
It benefits the mourner, but it benefits the mourner also, not only.
Not his purpose.
So the contradiction in Braitot, one was talking about the case where it's in his own private space, one is talking about the public space.
So
Joe.
because it says these particular items, are we understanding it to be only for those items, or is it a simil for similar items?
What other items are you talking about? Like,
Well, it just says the dishes, and the jars and the cups.
yeah.
What about
They couldn't do laundry. In
Changing
house.
the
They had to go to
tablecloth on the table, it gets a little dirty from the food. Like,
Eat on the
how far
floor.
does it go? No, but you know what I mean. In other words,
Yeah.
because we used to say, because it says those items,
The
we're really
sweeping
talking
dirt.
about those items.
Yeah.
It's not symbolic of everything.
Correct. But as
I'm
an
just trying to-
so washing dishes of any sort would be okay.
You clean dishes?
I don't even know what the dishes are.
Cleaning the dish, any sort of dishes, any sort of dishes, no problem, right? Anything that's going to be washing up, you're not allowed to wash up. New clothes you can't wear. Are you allowed to change a tablecloth? Forget washing it. You're allowed to change a tablecloth for a new tablecloth?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the people.
Oh.
It's for
No,
the
you saw.
Okay.
Even in my own private room. If I have a table and I want to put the new tablecloth on the table,
But
no, you
that
saw.
enhances your decor. You don't want to enhance anything.
Doesn't matter, but that's not something that they said you can't do.
Right.
By the way, you can't change your sheets. You can't have fresh sheets
In your bed.
in your bed. But that's part of the laundry item.
That's the laundry item. Yes. This
And
falls
you
under a
enjoy it.
different category.
Yeah. By the way, what happened if the sheets got dirty?
Jeez.
You could clean off anything you could clean off dirt from the sheets.
Get it back to neutral.
Back to neutral, exactly. You just can't have it freshly laundered. Okay? By the way, interesting question is one of the things that they say in cases like on the 9 days when you can't do laundry. One of the things they say, now I don't have clothes, I need a shirt, I don't have a shirt. Everything I have is freshly laundered. What do you do?
Freshly
Put
laundered.
it on, take it off.
Wear it.
Okay, you put it on, it's a problem. One of the things they say is they put it on the ground, walk on it, make
That's
it,
for fresh, though.
yeah, to get rid of the freshness. That's not an ideal item. Not ideal. You can't do that, lechatechila. But now the guy has no shirt on the 9 days. One of the things they tell him to do is to do
Last
that.
choice.
Last choice. So I wonder what would happen. A guy's avel. Would we say the same answer? He has not. Forget. I'm not wearing fresh clothes, but now this is dirty. No one's gonna say the baby threw up on the shirt that you have to wear throw up shirt for the rest of the week.
Well, we did
But everything else is clean.
We did say if a guy had a shirt that you could change to a worn shirt.
So one of the answers.
To put on another shirt.
So not
that's worn.
on the 9 days. What's the answer? You get someone who's not avel to wear the shirt. Not avel, he wears a freshly laundered shirt. After he wears it for 30 minutes,
He wore it.
he puts it on 30
9
minutes.
days or during Avelut?
Even during avelut. For the issue of freshly laundered, wearing it for 30
So you have
minutes
to
is not
determine
30
that
laundered.
the
not-
shirt's no good to wear. You have to determine
Yeah, it would have to
that
be
shirt's bad
a
means you
situation.
can't wear it.
You have a woman, she
Maybe
changes the
spill something
baby.
on it.
Or she changes the baby, or the food falls on it.
Something bad.
Yeah.
You can't wear it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
killing
You look like
spaghetti.
right.
Spaghetti. Now you look, yeah, exactly.
Breakfast, yeah.
Okay. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah. En molichin lebet avel. Okay, we don't bring food to the house of the avel. Lo betabla, not on a tray. Lo beiskutla, and not in a bowl. Okay, velo bekanon, or in a basket. Ele besalin. The way you bring food there is in baskets. Okay, says what's it called? The she over here.
So not fancy.
Yeah, not fancy.
Disaster.
Here you go.
I think you have to put it on the dargash.
Look,
Biscuits. There's different things.
here you go. So look at the bottom. You see 3 lines at the bottom? Ela bisalin. You see that? Ela bisalin. 3 lines at the bottom, all the way at the end of the page here. Ela bisalin shelo kiderech chashivut. You don't bring a mourner's meal wrapped beautifully on a gorgeous tray. You don't bring it in on a, why? Because it's a mourner's meal. So says the Mishnah.
King too?
Sorry,
The king too?
I'd imagine as well. Even the king, we only allowed him to lie on the dargash, because other people are on the floor. But it doesn't say that we went fancy for his food. Ve'en omrim birkat avelim b'moed. We don't say the biracha of avelim on the moed. So what's birkat avelim? Okay, what is this blessing of the avelim?
Tenachumu min hashamayim.
Sorry.
Tenachumu min hashamayim.
So some version of that, or hamakom yenachem etchem. Okay, all of those things. The blessing that you give to the mourner. Sfaradim Ashkenazim have different ones. Aval, what do we do instead? Omdim b'shura u'menachamim. They stand in a row and they give comfort to the people.
But when
Okay?
could this have happened if it's on Chol Moed, they're not sitting?
Sorry?
When or what could this have happened? They're not sitting,
So it would have been in a scenario where they did it before,
and then you're just coming to pay respects on the holiday?
and Chol, it's stretching through Chol Moed, yeah.
Got it.
Okay? So, says the Gemara. Okay. So what do? They make the rows, upotrin tarabim, and then once the rabim are have said their due comfort statements after the burial on Chol HaMoed, they send them home. They don't let them stay here and linger in the state of avelut. En minichin et hamita berachov. We don't put down the mita, the casket, in the street on Chol HaMoed. It doesn't go down to the floor, okay? And give him the eulogies. Shelo lahargil et ha'esped, because if you put the bed down, what happens? People get into funeral mode, and now they're starting to give eulogies because they're in front of the mitah. So what do they do instead? They hold it, and they don't put it down. Okay?
How would you have that occur during Chol HaMoed? Because during the holiday would break the shiva.
Yeah, but you still would bury the person.
Bury, yes.
Yeah. So when we're talking about the burial, how would we deal with the burial? How would we deal with the burial?
What's a beer?
Beer is like the casket. Yeah.
I just did it. No, we did the thing on the second day of the holiday, but we would not Chol HaMoed shiva because you have to wait till after. Right.
Okay. So number one, they won't put the casket down because the minute you put the casket down, people think it's time to give speeches. So what they do is they hold it and they don't put it down. V'lo shel nashim le'olam. When it comes to women, they don't ever put the beer down. They hold it and they don't put it down. So what's the concept of mipnei kavod? What are we worried about? We're talking about kavod. Since we're worried about situations where the woman there might be some blood dripping still from a period, from childbirth, whatever the case might be. So it's something which is not for the dignity. Now, I was thinking when I read this Mishnah.
I understand something.
Yeah, go ahead.
The beers of the woman they're talking about. Where's the blood coming from?
Now, in other words, there's a dead body there, but there's still fluid coming out. Yeah, the beer is the casket.
Right. So they're worried about blood coming out of the casket.
No, remember, we have it closed.
Sheets.
In Israel, it's sheets. It's a talit. Yeah. So they're wrapped in a talit on like a stretcher.
But don't they clean them? They clean the body first?
Even if they clean it, it could still be like oozing out of the body. They're not opening up the body like in the Christians. They're like washing out inside, embalming the body.
It's fast.
You dip it in the mikveh, but if there's something deep inside which is now seeping out, also remember, part of what keeps, again, sorry to be indelicate, but part of what keeps the body fluids in is the muscle, like the sphincter, it's closed. The body, the muscles,
it's weak.
Right. It's not weak, it's dead. It's dead, it's open. So there's nothing to hold it back.
Got it.
So we're worried about the oozing. Now, I actually thought something else, which was a different item. Not with regards to the blood, but just the fact that, remember, they're wrapped, so you're able to see the shape of the body. It's actually a wild. I don't know if you ever saw, but if you know the person and they're very tall or they're short, you see the shape of the person. So for a woman to be wrapped that way, maybe it's not sanu, it's not modest. So therefore, we don't ever put it down where people can look at it. We're just holding it up the whole time, and we don't. We keep it.
Not modest.
What?
If it's wrapped that way, if it's wrapped tightly,
yes,
it's not a modest thing.
So that's the point. So we don't want to put it down where people are sitting and looking at it, right? Where it's down on the ground where everyone can look down, right? That's what I would have guessed. Okay. I think that's much more of a common occurrence than whether or not there might be some blood that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue.
We're up to the. You want to start now?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah. Says the Gemara as follows. Tana Rabbanan. Barishona, hayu molechim bet Avel. In the beginning, they would take to the house of the Avel, ashirim b'kelatot shel kesef v'shel zahav. They would bring all these baskets. They would bring mansura on a silver tray, gold. V'aniyim b'saleh nesarim shel arava kilufa. The poor people, what did they do, Hazit? They would take the willow twigs from the arava. They would peel off the outside so it would look like a little nicer because it's like white on the inside, you know? And that's how they were. The poor people were very embarrassed. Hitkinu, shiyu akom mevi'im. In the end, they decided, you know what? Everyone should bring bisaleh netzarim shel arava kilufa. Everyone should bring these peeled branches of the arava. In order that the poor people should not be embarrassed, everyone's bringing in the same way. Gemara says, we have also the same concept by Bikurim, other places in the sacrifices in the Beit HaMikdash, where the poor guy brings a bird. Remember that? So halakha is you leave the feathers on, because when you take off the feathers, the bird looks even more scrawny. So we burn the feathers, it smells terrible, but out of sensitivity, so it should look bigger than it is, we keep the feathers on. Tana Rabbanan, we learned the Braita. In the beginning, they would serve drinks in the house of Avel. The wealthiest people, what did they do? They brought this glass that was white. The poor people, they had a glass that was not as purified, so it had color to it. They were embarrassed. They decided that everyone's going to, from now on, drink in the house of the Avel in zuchuchit tzivua. Because of the kavod of the anim. It's interesting. We don't say that at your Shabbat table you have to have colored glass because there's a poor guy and he might get embarrassed. Because I think the reason is that in death, we're all supposed to be equal. Yeah. So in death, we were saying, come on, at least here, we don't have to have imagine a guy, somebody died, and he's thinking about his glasses.
And the person is vulnerable.
Okay? And they're even more vulnerable. Excellent. Yeah. Says the Gemara, in the beginning, they would leave, the wealthy people, they would leave their faces uncovered, okay? And they would say, wow, look at the guy, Abus Hayato, what he's so adami, but the poor people with the gaunt cheeks, they would cover them. Because their faces were showing the sign of starvation. They were embarrassed, the face was covered. They decided they should cover all the face. So it's interesting that there was a time when a Jewish funeral would look like a wake. Like, we don't often think that. We think that, this is how we do it, this is how we always did it. The Gemara over here is telling you that in the beginning, the faces were revealed. Not fascinating?
So is it in Isur now?
Well, yes. Once a Chachamim made a takana, the halakha is you have to keep it. Okay? We're just going to end. I wanted to end with this. Barishona, in the beginning, hayu motzi mashim b'dargash. They would take. That's all I wanted to get to. From the beginning, that's all I wanted to get. I wanted to close the circle. Last line of the page. In the beginning, they would take out the rich people on the dargash. V'aniyim, and the poor people, they would take out b'klicha on the beer, as we said. Okay? Hayu aniyim b'ayishim, the poor people were embarrassed. They decided they should have everyone taken out in a casket. In order to protect the aniyim. Okay? And as we said already before, what is dargash? Dargash is this basically a frame which has like a leather thing underneath it, and almost like a stretcher, by the way. Almost exactly like the way you imagine a stretcher. That's what a dargash would have been.
Made of leather.
Made of leather. So it was more luxurious,
But even though it's a good luck thing, it's okay for the body?
No, it's not good luck anymore.
Oh, we got rid of the good luck.
The first opinion was good luck, second opinion was the leather. Okay, so here,
Second opinion.
here we're going to end. We left off on 27b1. Just one thing I want to